is dress for comfort and warmth. So it has to be comfortable clothing. It can't be things that are binding or tight because you're going to be leaning over. You might need to turn. So something that's comfortable for you. And it needs to be warm. And that's why we're going to be talking about the layers. So when we talk about warmth, we talk about things that are breathable. So cotton is not breathable, so you want to wear cotton. Because generally, depending on how long your commute is or what you're doing on your ride, if you sweat, cotton is death. It gets cold really quickly and it doesn't dry out. Moisture wicking clothing is really good as well. So technical fabrics, polyester, some people swear by silk or even wool. Number 2 point, dress for safety. Part of the reason is that we're riding when it's dark. If you're commuting in the morning and you're coming home at night, the lighting isn't all that great. So you want to wear clothing that is safe to ride. Wide pants, for instance. So watch the cuffs of your pants. If they're wide, you run the risk of them getting caught in your spokes, getting them caught up in your chain. You can put an elastic in or just sew elastic together to gather that ankle. But wrap up your pant cuffs or even roll them up so they don't get caught. Wear bright colors. We were coming down this morning. I can't tell you how many people we saw that were dressed in all black. And I'm kind of guilty of that myself, but you want to wear bright, colorful colors. And I know in winter the clothing might not be as easy to do, but colors are essential, and reflective gear. And I'll talk a little bit about that later on in the presentation and show you some ideas. But the big thing is you want to increase visibility. So you have your lights on, you've got something that's bright and colorful, and you're able to, the drivers are able to see you, other bikers are able to see you, and pedestrians and so on. And last point is dress for conditions. So is it like today where it's wet snow and you're going to get sopping wet as you're riding? So what am I going to wear for that? Is it freezing cold? Is it like windy? Is it blizzard conditions? So you need to kind of maybe check the weather before you go out. I know when we were riding last year, I'd open up the garage and go, oh, wow, that's a lot colder. In I go and I'd add another layer or buff or something. So really watch conditions and then dress for those conditions. Base layers. It's what you wear closest to your skin. All right. So I talked about the no cotton. I'm not going to ask them to see what they're wearing underneath, but I trust them to be good. So what we say for our base layer should be close fitting because it helps to keep the warmth in. So base layers close fitting should be breathable, no cotton. It can be a wool, it can be synthetic, it can be like a polyester. So those are the materials that we sort of base our base layer in. So base layer tops, t-shirts, and so on. So you guys didn't have, I know Kate and Martin didn't have a very long commute. Eric, did you have a longer commute?
Not too far.
Not too far, but that's comfortable for you? All right. Now, underwear, we don't talk about it, but I got to tell you, ladies, no cotton, all right? Men, probably the same for you. Nylon is really good. You can get wool underwear if you're doing something long. If you're just going to go for a trip to the store, then it's fine. But if you're going to be on the bike longer and get sweaty, then you want to have something that sort of whisks. I didn't bring it because I don't show anybody my underwear, but there are some things that you can get. Underwear that has fleece in the bum and sort of a thicker. Bike shorts. I personally wear bike shorts when I'm out riding all the time, just because, and then change if you're going to be working. All right, long underwear. So legs, what are you going to wear underneath? Long underwear? Yeah. Long underwear? Jeans? One of the things I want to talk about, ladies, and I know guys that wear these as well, tights. So these are uber stretchy. You know, you can find them fairly cheap. They're fleece lined. They're footless. I don't like the foot ones because I never get them to fit. But tights are really good. It's not so bulky because I know that's always a question. Is like, well, I can't get them underneath my jeans or whatever. So tights work really well. Like Martin, you can also get various widths. Like this is almost see-through. So I'd wear this, you know, or you'd wear yours depending on how cold it is. It just adds an extra layer. And then like Martin, something that's thicker. I actually even sometimes when we were riding last year and it was really cold, I think it was picture day, like heavy. I had fleece leggings on underneath of pants. So let's go. All right, so we've done that. So if you're then moving on, sometimes people wear a short sleeve shirt as a base layer. Sometimes you can wear a long sleeve. Some people, I like a turtleneck if it's really cool because I don't like cold on my neck. And if it's windy and so on, I just like something covering my neck. So I'll wear something that either has a zipper or a turtleneck. So long sleeve shirts work as well. But again, depending on where you're coming from and what layer you're putting on next, you can start off with a t-shirt. All right, mid layers. What's your mid layer? So mid layer is usually our insulating layer. It's the layer that we put on if we want to add additional warmth. So I'll let these guys get dressed. I know, Eric. You want to try to make sure that your insulating layer is breathable. So it's, again, a technical fabric if you can. Fleece works really well, just for a top layer. Light jackets work really well. Yeah, a lot of people prefer vests because you want to keep the core warm, right? So vests are a brilliant layering piece. And like I said, that might be something you have from another piece of clothing. The other thing I want to talk about is arm sleeves. This is just a pair I got off of Amazon. They're wool. So my core heats up warm really well, but my arms don't. Arms, hands, and feet for me are tough. So you can just buy sleeves and then they go on. And by the way, you can look at this equipment afterwards. But it's just, I can put these either under a shirt, I can put them over top, they're super stretchy. But you can just add sleeves as an additional layer just to keep your arms. All right, and you can get these at all price points. I don't think these were that expensive at all. And I'm not encouraging, again, that you go out and buy things, but just showing you some options. So it can be like a WinPro jacket, it could be a jacket, it could be your parka, it could be your snow jacket. The only thing is that watch for no rain jackets. All right, Gore-Tex works really well. Obviously, is that a Gore-Tex?
This is Gore-Tex, but
yeah,
like just today when it's really wet snow.
Yeah.
And then I have the pit zips if I need.
Yeah, pit zips are brilliant because then you can vent, you can unzip and you can cool down. But yeah, I don't encourage for an upper layer any rain gear just because you end up sweating and soaking wet as you get inside. So you're looking for something that's ideal, like today, both for wet and cold conditions. Pit zips are really helpful. Lots of zippers are really helpful. So you can undo, you know, if you had something that's higher neck, you can undo it and so on. Ski parkas work really well. And again, it depends on what gear that you have. So search through your closet because all those things, if you live in this town, you probably have a lot of clothing that you can switch up. Yeah, and the wind pants are a great idea. Sometimes the technical pants, if you've got tights, sometimes, you know, for running and so on, they have that wind panel just on the front. And that's okay if it's you know, not too cold, but I gotta tell you, my butt gets cold if it's windy and we've been out for some time. So look for gear that has, you know, some wind breaking compatibility. These also fit over the boots, but you didn't get these caught, right? They don't get caught in your chain.
No, I wear I thought you had one.
Oh yeah, you wear these, which I'll talk about. Yeah. So put them around the ankle. The other thing I was going to say too about overclothing is look for reflective details. Most of the equipment and clothing that's coming out now related to sports all have reflective details. Pants that have like little decals on the back, jackets that might have it on the back and so on. So a lot of the coats and jackets and so on, check in your closet, but reflective details just help in that visibility piece. Another point, they need to be easy to slip on and off, right? So those you can get on, you can get over top of your boots. If they've got a zipper on the bottom, just something that's easy to get on and off. And again, ankles should be slim to prevent catching and tearing spokes. So this is a pair that I was wearing last year when it was really cold. And it's just, and I would wear like a lighter pair of like underwear or even leggings. And it's like a snow pant, right? I don't downhill ski, I cross country, but I would wear something that was heavy. So you got that padding in the bum as well as the full leg. So something that's a little bit heavier when it gets colder. And then I know Kate has one, and I had to get one, but I do use it running. You can also buy these skirts. They used to be incredibly expensive, so these are for anybody, really. But
I think you can get a short version for the legs.
yes, oh yeah, you can get like padded quilted capri pants and so on that just come down over the top. They're like it's an overpant, and it just comes down over the knees. But this also helps like for just covering or for adding that insulation on the bum. All right, so we've done wind pants. If you want to take those jackets off, you guys. Are you getting hot? All right, headwear. So while they're getting their headwear out, let me just talk about the importance of headwear. So you need something on your head. It's necessary for warmth and ear protection. If you're wearing earrings, you need something that comes down or take the earrings out. Unless you're going to work and you need to look really good, you want something that covers ears. Earlobes freeze very quickly, and it's not nice. It hurts. So you want to make sure that the ears are covered. Make sure it covers over the forehead. So I see people that, you know, it's up too high or something. Like Kate's, it comes down a little bit low. If you ever get a forehead headache from the cold, it really hurts as well. So I like something that comes down, covers your forehead. No cotton, again, just because of the wet. You want fleece, synthetic materials work really well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and I was gonna say, and Kate's got a nice one too, it comes nice and low. So you don't want anything that's really bulky. If you're wearing a helmet, it needs to fit under the helmet. So check it out. Loosen up the helmet. You might have to adjust the straps so it fits so you're not choking yourself. But it needs to be comfortable again for you to wear. Use your buff. Do you want to put it on and just show them? So I know there were some people that came in late. We do have your participant buffs, and we need you to sign a piece of paper so you can get those after. Greg in the corner will help you. But those are there for you. But they have like,
extremely cool.
they are, and they are like 1,001 uses, right? So buffs can go over your head. I like Eric's, that's like extra protection. Yeah, you are adjusting, like pulling it up when it's really cold if you're going down and the wind's in your face, and then taking it off if you're getting really hot. So you're constantly unzipping. And that speaks to Jeremy's comment about give yourself extra time, because you might be stopping, redoing, pulling something up, adjusting your hands and so on. All right, hands. Let's talk about how my hands and feet are my nemesis. So again, you want to have a fabric that's waterproof, breathable, and blocks wind. So we're going to see a whole bunch of different types of gloves. I think, you know, baseline, you want something with insulation. You want something that's going to keep your hands warm. When we ride bikes, most people prefer gloves over mittens.
Yeah.
Although I have those ones, I would actually prefer to use mittens. And if you prefer to use mittens because all your fingers are together except that thumb, then what you can do is just get a glove that has a wider hand box so that you can move those fingers. Yeah, and this is what I generally wear. But I have pogies. I'll put these on, so bar mitts. So check switching gear. Last year, we found them tucked away in the bag. Well, Marley found, no, was you? Or was it Marley? Yeah, they were like $30 or $40. The only thing, and by the way, Kate got a pair on Amazon or something, right? They're down. So you don't have to do this type of style. This is just a neoprene. It's not really insulating. What it does is it blocks, and it goes to your handlebar here. It blocks the wind. Someone was selling them on Facebook Marketplace for $50. Anyway, this is a large. I encourage you to get a large or extra large. So even if you have small hands, you want to be able to get in there. You don't want to be, you know, having a really tight opening. You want to be able to get your hand in there. And this works amazing. Yeah, my hands go in kind of cold at the beginning, but it makes a big difference. So feet, what am I going to wear in my boots? So here's my other nemesis. So heavy wool or synthetic socks only. Something that's thicker, that is not cotton. So I don't know if you guys have what you have
Yeah.
on.
Merino
But-
wool, I guess.
Yeah, so merino wool. I have a wool sock on. Yes, beautiful. You don't have to show, because you probably because you just had a short commute, you probably just have regular socks on, which work fine for short commutes, right?
But I do, as you're saying, I wear my hiking socks or wool socks.
Yeah.
If it's a longer ride.
And if you're, make sure that your feet aren't shoved in your boots, because then your feet will freeze. So you want to still have room for those tootsies to move. I also would suggest mid-calf socks, just so that they come above your boots. You don't want any rubbing on that boot. And it helps protect the shin, which is a vulnerable point for cold as well. You shouldn't need to buy new boots at all. If you've already got a pair of winter boots, they should work okay. All right. Hiking boots work really well. So if you have a pair of hiking boots, stiff sole on the boots if that's possible, just because your foot doesn't become so fatigued. And the other thing is throw in some toe warmers. So it was really cold last year, and you can get toe warmers. These little guys, you can find them everywhere. Susie, you need to go, sweetie? All right. Did you get your participant stuff? Okay. These attach, they stick to the bottom of your socks, because the toes are what is most susceptible to cold, and they work really well. Give them a shake and they heat. But we also found last year, Marley brought them to my attention, last year you can get a full, and you had them too, it's this, but it's a full foot warmer, and it goes right from your toes to the back of your heel. Same idea, a little bit more expensive, but if it's extreme cold and so on, they last the day. You just stick them on the bottom of your socks, put them in your boots, and you're good to go. All right, we're moving on. We're almost there. Okay, some extra, and Gators. Sorry, I forgot to mention Gators. So if you're riding through really deep snow, first of all, that's really hard to do. Even on studded tires, it's like riding through sand, and it's very hard to gain control. So, the town has been really good about keeping the pathways swept. So for the most part, that won't be an issue. But Gators also work. You can attach them to your boots. They come up to your knee, and they just keep your feet. Again, the whole point is about being visible, and it's about being seen. And I think when I saw it, and even people walking are all dressed in black. It's very hard to see them. You want to, as a rider, make yourself as visible as you can. So these aren't very expensive. You can get vests, anything that makes yourself stand out. So I'm going to talk about group rides in a little bit, but if you come to a group ride, I do have reflective armbands, and I'll be handing those out as well. Another thing is headlamps. I know you'll have lights on your bike, both front and back. Always ride with I always ride with a backlight on if I'm downtown or if I'm on streets. At night, certainly when it gets dark, I use my front light, but I also will use a headlight, because then where I look, I can see. So if I hear something in the bushes, I'm like, oh, what's that? My bike, I have to turn to see it, right? Because your light's on your front bar. But for a headlight, it just gives you that extra protection. And make sure it's charged. Make sure that you have it. A couple of other things. So people have always asked, and last winter, your water freezes in your water bottle, depending how long you're out riding. So one tip is to put hot water in your water bottle. It will be cold, depending. But it doesn't freeze in your water bottle. And especially, it doesn't freeze the nipple or the piece, the mouthpiece, and that's bad. Or your lid doesn't freeze on your water bottles. I have bells on all the bikes I ride, just because I'm always dinging it for people, for dogs, for everything, just as a notification. And you don't ring your bell like 2 feet away from a person. I always ring the bell, 25 feet away. I'll ring the bell and I'll call out. And oftentimes, you'll have, oh, thanks for ringing your bell, because it's terrifying for people. Now, on our studded tires, they might hear you coming because they have a very particular loud noise, and it's like an airplane motor. But often people can't hear, especially if they're wearing music buds and so on. So call out, ring a bell. It's just another piece to give more alert. And I also use it when I'm riding, if I'm doing mountain biking for bear stuff and whatever, if I'm winded. And I think that's it for the equipment.